Hello and welcome to the Galeblade News. Many lives have been ruined because officials fail to hear the concerns of women given drugs and procedures that cause them or their babies considerable harm, says a review. More than 700 women and their families shared harrowing details about vaginal mesh, pregnancy tests, Primodos, and epilepsy drug sodium valproate. Too often worries and complaints were dismissed as women's problems. It said arrogant attitudes left women traumatized, intimidated and confused. Review Chair Baroness Julia Cumberlege said she was shocked by the sheer scale and intensity of suffering. She said, "I've conducted many reviews and inquiries over the years, but I have never encountered anything like this. Much of this suffering was entirely avoidable, caused and compounded by failings in the health system itself." She said even now the exact numbers of women affected by the three issues were still not known, and praised campaigners for fighting to raise the problems. The cases span decades and are thought to affect hundreds of thousands of women and babies. The review looks at three treatments: Primodos, a hormonal pregnancy test withdrawn from the market in 1978, which is thought to be associated with birth defects and miscarriages. The manufacturer, Schering, now part of Bayer, has always denied a link between the drug and deformities in babies. Sodium valproate, an epilepsy drug which, while effective for preventing seizures, can be harmful if taken during pregnancy, causing physical abnormalities to the baby in the womb, as well as development delay and autism in children whose mothers took it. And pelvic mesh implants, used as a surgical option to treat prolapse and incontinence. Some women say they have been left with internal damage and agonizing chronic pain, like razors inside the body. In the last few years, the procedure has only been offered on the NHS under exceptional circumstances and high vigilance. The review has set out the missed opportunities when something could or should have been done to prevent harm. It said there was a culture of denial by a disjointed and defensive healthcare system that failed to listen to patients' concerns. Hundreds of babies are being born each year to mothers unaware of the risks that sodium valproate can pose in pregnancy, said the review. While some women have benefited from mesh implants, others have been left in agony. June Ray, 73, and from Newcastle, experienced chronic pain after having a vaginal mesh procedure in 2009. "Sometimes the pain is so severe I feel like I will pass out," she said. "But when I told GPs and surgeons, they didn't believe me. They just looked at me like I was mad." Kate Langley had a mesh fitted in 2012 for incontinence problems. She said it had had a massive impact on her life, leading to more than 50 admissions to hospital when she was in acute pain. "It was so hard to deal with, years of going from one doctor to another. She has now had 4 operations to remove the mesh." Mary Leon was prescribed Primodos when she was pregnant with her daughter, who was born with a shortened arm. She began campaigning in 1978 and said the review was relieved that there has finally been an acknowledgement of the situation. Liz Leon, chairwoman of the Association for Children Damaged by Hormone Pregnancy Tests, said there was also great sadness that many of the original campaign members were not alive to see the results of the review. The review warned against pushing innovative treatments without enough long-term monitoring, and criticises manufacturers for being motivated by sales ahead of safety. And it recommended appointing an independent patient safety commissioner to hold the health system to account, setting up discretionary payment schemes to meet the financial care costs of those already affected, creating a redress agency to help resolve future disputes, and transparency of payments made to doctors by pharmaceutical and medical device companies. Kath Sanson, founder of Sling the Mesh campaign and a mother of 2, said the report is hard-hitting and recognises the total failure in patient safety, regulation and oversight in the UK. It also makes it very clear that our medical establishment is deeply entrenched in institutional denial and misogyny. While we welcome all of the recommendations, there is no glory in knowing thousands of women have been maimed by mesh since the late 1990s, then ignored when they asked for help, suffering debilitating, life-altering and irreversible pain. Epilepsy Action Deputy Chief Executive Simon Wigglesworth said nothing can undo the avoidable harm and distress that has been caused by the decades of government silence and inaction. Health Minister Nadine Dorries said she was determined to make the changes needed to protect women in the future. Our health system must learn from those it has failed. We will now give this independent review the full and careful consideration it deserves before setting out our full response. So, what do you think of this situation? Obviously, I'm a male, so I wouldn't understand. From my mum's point of view, actually, she had one of these as a result of something else happening, and actually, luckily, it got removed by a secondary doctor. So she's kind of protected from that point of view. Luckily, she didn't have any damage as a result, which we're very grateful for. But obviously, other women have. Do you know anyone? Have you had to suffer this? And what effects has this had on you? Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.